Hello, Professor.
Hello, Professor.
Everyone, if you can hear me but cannot talk, I just need to acknowledge that.
I can hear
if
you.
Can raising up your hand, I'll be very happy.
Can you hear us, Professor?
Good.
Hello, good morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Judlin. I hope you are doing well. Thank you, Judlin.
Can you hear us
Thank
now?
you, Rhodas. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Hear you. I can hear you. Thank you, thank you. I hope your week wasn't that bad. Everything went smoothly as was planned. Okay, we are back again with yet another weekend. We're going to go through our last but two topics. Then we are done for the entire semester. All right. Before we start today's topic, any question? Do you have any question for us? Anything you do not understand, something bothering you? Anybody with that issue? Okay, perfect. As promised last weekend, I'm going to give you the areas that you'll be concentrating on, areas that you can spend your energy to be able to at least have enough time to study. All right. I'm going to do that through the chat. So I'm going to put the topics through the chat in a few so that you have it. You can go through whenever you want to, but again, just try as much as possible to review into details so that you will not have yourself to be blamed at the end of the day. So I'm going to just type them through the test or the chat menu so that you guys can have it. I decided to do it that way because it's not even proper for such thing to be done. Once the topics have been treated, we can go ahead and then set the exams, but I have to give you some clue so that you'll be able to prepare and prepare well. So I'm doing that now. As soon as we're done with that, we'll be able to continue with the class. So it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 topics. We're dealing with 8 topics. So just bear in mind you'll be seeing it through the chat menu. So those who like to come to class late, it's unfortunate they will still see it. So when they come, we refer them to the site to go and then look for it. Okay. Okay, then we do have the info. So as I'm doing this, if you still have a question, you can bring it over and then I'll answer it while doing this. H. Perfect. So I think you should have that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do you have 7 topics? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I hope we can all see from the chat menu, right? Can everybody see from the chat menu?
Yes, Professor.
Yes, Professor.
Good. Good. So that is the topic for the final exams. This is where it's going to come from. We're going to have multiple choice questions that will include filling the blanks, multiple true or false. And then you have a written part. The written part will be 3 or 4 questions that you choose one, and then you just deliberate on it, or you choose 2 and then you deliberate on it. I'm yet to see how to post the weight on those 2. If it is going to be 2 questions, how many credit will go there? If it is going to be 1 question, how many credit will be on there, and how intensive should that question be? All right, so that is how it's going to be. So just prepare yourself, and I believe you'll be fine. These are topics that we have treated, and if you do have any question too, feel free. You can send me a text message, email. Even if I'm at the office, I do very well to respond to some of your text messages and then emails. So just send it out, and then I'll be able to assist as much as I can. All right. So if there is no question, then I believe we're gonna move directly into today's agenda. We're gonna be talking about such a wonderful topic and a different market today that everybody would like to hear. Very nice topic. I believe, again, those who have done some economics in their previous degrees or courses might, again, have heard about this topic and really know something about it. So that is what we have for today. And it's going to be what we call it as monopolistic competition and oligopoly. Monopolistic competition and oligopoly. I'm not sure how these names came by, but the history behind it will tell you that this mono is just telling us something so simple that if you try to look for its definition, you get to understand very well. Just like one of those markets that it's going to have some similarities from the previous discussions that we have had in the perfect competition market, and also from a monopoly market. This is the type of market that is going to really be like a grandfathered type, receive or have everybody at heart. Okay, and we do have the oligopoly, which is just going to be directly opposite of what we discussed in the perfect conditions. That is going to be just a few producers also in that market. So try to dive into it quickly. If you do have any question, again, please feel free to just draw my attention, and I'll be able to also explain it for you. We do have a goal for today, and by the end of this section that we find ourselves, we should be able to accomplish all these goals over here. It is our dream, it is our objective that by the end of this section, we should know the characteristics of the monopolistic competitive firm. Okay, what identifies a monopolistic competitive firm? If we see a monopolistic competitive firm, what tells us, what indications, all right, makes us know that yes, ideally, this is a monopolistic competitive firm? We should be able to do what? Tell by its characteristics. Again, we should be able to explain the characteristics of the demand curve faced by the monopolistic competitive firm. We should also be able to determine the short-run equilibrium for the monopolistic or monopolistically competitive firm. All right. Also, we should be able to know the characteristics, okay, of oligopoly. All right. That is similar to the identities of what I mentioned in the first what do we call it, objective. You know, how do you identify oligopoly? How do you know that this is the market? What qualities, okay, or what kind of identities does that market display, or what makes you know that yes, this is the type of market we are talking about? So that is oligopoly. So at the end of the day, we need to know that. We need to also describe, we need to also be able to describe the collusive behavior of cartels. Yes, probably we might have heard it before. Who is a cartel, or what do we mean by a cartel? Yes, a simple name somebody might know is about a gang, a group, or maybe an association. Yes, just by its name, you'll be able to understand what it might probably mean dealing with such type of firm or market. We need to also be able to explain the pricing behavior of oligopolistic firm using the price leadership model. We need to be able to do that. We need to be able to explain the pricing behavior of oligopolistic firm using the price leadership module. Last but not the least, we should be able to also illustrate strategic behavior of oligopolistic firm using what we term as a game theory, using what we term as a game theory. And then from there, we should be able to also explain the pricing behavior of oligopolistic firm using the leadership module. All right. So this is what we are aiming to achieve at the end of our discussion, at the end of our engagement this morning or this afternoon, wherever you find yourself. Again, monopolistic competitive market have many characteristics, okay? Like I said, similarly to what? Both competitive or perfectly competitive market and a monopolistic market, okay? These have a similar characteristics compared to the two, all right? So at the end of the day, when we go through, you get to know more about what I'm trying to tell you. So these are going to be our topics, and the topics I'm normally not really interested about that. That is also just like the objective. So it runs parallel with it. Okay. So whatever topics we have, that's where at the end of the day, we see what objective that we need to set for that specific topic. So monopolistic competition, if we do say that, monopolistic competition, it's a monopolistic competition is a form of what? Market. It's a form of market that it's how do I even explain this for you to get it? Monopolistic competition. Probably at the end of the day, it's gonna come, and then I'll be able to give you that. It's a market that it contains, say, one particular firm, okay? That is monopolistic competition, okay? Monopolistic competition. We tend to confuse ourselves sometimes with monopolistic competition and then monopolistic competitive market. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm really making sense. Monopolistic competition and monopolistically competitive market. Okay, these are two separate things or two separate markets. All right, I just want you to get this because sometimes we do confuse ourselves, or because of its name, we tend to sometimes just brush aside certain things. But this is what you have to know, that for the monopolistic competition, its characteristics does have relatively large number of sellers in that market. Okay, relatively they have large number of what? Sellers. All right, at the end of the day, they do sell what? A differentiated products in that market. Okay, some will also say that they do have some amount of what? Control over the price in that market. In a monopolistic competition, they do have some control over the price. Okay, and relatively there is a free flow or an easy entry and exit in that market. That is what we term as monopolistic competition. All right, I'm not sure from here somebody have an issue before we move further. Okay, monopolistic market is different from monopolistic competition. I hope we do understand that. Monopolistically competition market is different from what we have as monopolistic competition. And these are the characteristics for monopolistic competition market. Any question? Good. So let's keep on with it. So monopolistically, yes.
Can I repeat? Sorry. Sir, Sam, can you say monopolistic competition and monotypically market as different?
Monopolistically competitive market, yes, and monopolistic competition are two different things.
Okay.
You want me again? Monopolistically competitive market. This is the type of market. It have its similarities. We will discuss that as well. Its similarities is it has characteristics which is similar to both perfectly competitive market and monopolistic market, which is what we are talking about now. We have discussed perfectly competitive market already, which is last week. I'm not sure if it's last week or last 2 weeks. All right. What I'm trying to say is with this type of market that we term as monopolistically competitive market, it has its characteristics have that kind of similar to both perfectly competitive market and monopolistic competition market. Are we there?
Sir, can you elaborate on their difference?
Definitely. Definitely. As we move forward, we'll do that. And as I told you earlier on, the monopolistic market, okay, competition, the monopolistic competition, I told you in a few that its characteristics, okay, one, they sell what? Differentiated products, all right? They have some amount of control over what? The price, okay? They have relatively free entry and then exit, okay? And then they also have relatively large number of what? Sellers, okay, in the monopolistic competition. Are we clear? Are we clear?
For me, yes.
Yeah, I think so, sir. I think it will be clear once we go through
The slides.
Yes.
Sure. What I need you to understand is just one thing. Know that, let me go back to the slide. Know that at the end of the day, we have a market that we call a monopolistic competition. Okay? I hope all of you are with me. We have a market that we call a monopolistic competition. And we also do have a market that we call monopolistically competitive market. All right. So at the end of the day, a monopolistic market contains only one firm. That is where the power of controlling, that is the biasness, is going to be. So I just don't want to go there because I'm not there. I always want to follow with the slide so that you get the understanding. So if we say monopolistic competition, we are not talking about monopoly here. But look at the third characteristics. It says what? Some control over price. Okay, but when we go into the other side, which is monopoly market, they have control. We have not gotten there. I don't want to jump there without exhausting what we have under monopolistic competition, but I want you to understand that they are different.
Okay, I get it, sir, because monopoly I get, but I was confused about when you said monopolistically competitive market and monopolistic competition are different. So I get that monopolistic competition and monopoly are different.
Okay. So moving forward, you get to understand what I'm trying to talk about. All right. So let's see.
Okay.
So we do have in a short, there is a quiz that we just have to run through quickly. In a monopolistically competitive market, they are telling us that barriers, entry barriers do not exist. They are more prevalent than in perfectly competitive markets, but less than in monopoly markets. They are more prevalent than in monopoly market, but less than in a perfectly competitive market. And in monopolistically competitive market, entry barriers are blocked. That is the D. We just mentioned in what we call it, in the characteristics above, right? That they are more prevalent than in perfectly competitive market, but less than in monopoly market. This question shouldn't have been here because we've not even treated the monopoly yet. But yes, if you look at the characteristics from the previous slide, we will be able to tell. Where is this? Okay, so I don't. So in a monopolistically competitive market, entry barriers are what? That is the B, as I was saying, right? The entry barriers are more prevalent. It means they are more what? Open, right? Is somebody with me? In a perfectly competitive market, but less than in a monopoly market.
Yes, Professor. No, sir. I think it is
They
C.
are more open.
I think it is C.
Yeah.
It is C.
C.
C is the answer.
Yes.
Oh, how can it be C? Can somebody explain it?
I think it's B, Professor.
Who is that?
Me too.
Who is that? Who? Okay, before who said it's me?
I am saying it is C.
Yes,
Because
I
in
got you.
perfect,
I got
because in,
you.
okay.
Who said it's B earlier?
I said, Professor. I said it's B.
Okay. In relation to the characteristics I just mentioned, what is the meaning of prevalent?
More common, maybe?
Okay. So if we look at the B answer, he's telling us that the entry barriers are more common as simple, more in perfectly competitive market, but less than in monopoly market. Is that is something that monopolistically competitive market does?
Professor, when you compare this monopolistic competitive market with the monopoly markets, so in monopoly markets, there are only one organization. So that means there are only one company. So that means that the entry barriers are more common. The entry barriers are a lot, and not every company can enter the market. But in competitive market, the entry barriers does not exist. So every company can enter and exit. But in monopolistic competitive markets, the entry barriers are a little more than the competitive markets, but less than the monopoly markets. That's
All right.
my
Thank you,
opinion.
Mansoon. Thank you. So it is B, but I want to just make sure, because this question was also in your homework, right? It was in your homework, but I changed it in a way, in a slight way from what was in this slide here. So they are more prevalent than in perfectly competitive market, but less than in monopoly market. So I wish we can take this prevalent away. Probably somebody will understand what that content means. Okay, so in a monopolistically competitive market, yes, entry barriers are more prevalent than in a perfectly competitive market, but less in what? Monopoly market. Okay, let's see if we can move forward. It looks like there is another one. It is more difficult to analyze a monopolistically competitive market than a perfectly competitive market, because in a monopolistically competitive market, what do we find? Products are differentiated, which results in a non-price competition. A normal profit in the long run is normal. There is only one firm. Firms are characterized by mutual interdependence. Okay, so these are the 4 questions. Again, this slide also came in one of the yes, I believe one of your homeworks. I'm not sure if it's the homework or quiz. I just have to even stop doing this because some people have not done it, which is also a good advantage. You come to class, get the information before you take any exams. So it makes you feel more confident in what you do. So at the end of the day, it is more difficult to analyze monopolistically competitive market than a perfectly competitive market, because in a monopolistically competitive market, products are differentiated. We just said that. It is one of the characteristics. Okay, it is one of the characteristics which results in a non-price competition, because they produce different products, okay, they are always able to offer customers and consumers with different products. As a result, if I cannot afford a specific product, then maybe I can afford its what? It's maybe similar item or something like that. Okay, so it gives that kind of leeway to consumers to always meet their purchasing power or their target in terms of market. All right, so at the end of the day, this question is going to be answered with what? The A of the A answer is going to be the answer to that question as well. Good. Let's look at this one too. Which of the following statements explains a similarity between perfect competition and monopolistic competition? Perfect competition and monopolistic competition.
C.
C. Okay. Firms in these models produce differentiated products.
Okay, sorry.
Similarity. Okay.
Similarity.
So
I think it's D.
Yes.
okay, thank you. Thank you, Rodas. So we have they produce differentiated products when we talk about monopolistically competitive market, right? But when we talk about perfectly competitive market, that is not something they do, right? So we cannot see that as what? Similarities. Good. So it is the D. Good. Let's move forward. Now, we do have what we term as firm demand. Firm demand. So, monopolistic competition. There we go again. The demand and then the marginal revenue over there. What is it telling us? Okay, the demand. You see M1, is it M1 or MR1 or MR2? And then demand 1, demand 2. Okay, the demand and the marginal revenue curves for a monopolistically competitive firms are what? They are what? They are showing that firms, hold on, let me see something here. Okay, so at the end of the day, what this is telling us, I don't know why this is telling us that although this curve shows the demand crossing. I need to make this big a little bit. Let's see. Okay. Oh no, it went back to a different slide. Okay. So that was a different slide. So okay. So so let's assume that this is M1, which is that is the marginal revenue, right? Marginal revenue, and then the demand, okay, for a monopolistic competitive market. But yes, this is it. But I still don't know Okay, so this is the one different equilibrium, and this is a different equilibrium here. All right, so at the end of the day, monopolistic competitive firms' demand shows that it's more what? Elastic over here. Okay, it shows that it is more elastic looking at the demand. Okay, so probably let's see the next slide. Probably will give us more information right there. Okay, so looking at it from this point, when we start from, this is P1, right? That's the price one, and then quantity. The quantity is what? One as well. So this is the equilibrium for this particular slide. Okay, so this is the equilibrium for this particular slide, and let's when we want to say, we can assess the difference between this monopolistic and then the monopolistically competitive market demand. Okay, let's see the next slide. Probably that will also give us more information. I'm not really sure. So okay, good. It looks like this is what was being represented earlier on. Yep, this is what was being represented earlier on. I'm not sure if we all can see from that. Let me go back to that slide. Over here. Okay, so over here, which means if a price rise, if the price rise, which means the firm will do what? The price rise, the firm will reduce, they will decrease okay, the quantity. Okay, they will decrease the quantity. Okay. Okay, monopolistic competitive firm shows more what it will at the end of the day. Okay, so let me see that again. All right, so looking at this slide, I think we can see the interpretation from here. I needed to go back and then check to make sure that is what this is talking about. All right, so if assuming the price is at P1, which is the faint one, you can see that, right? The faint P1, and then the quantity is what? I believe is 2 or is 3. So if the price rise to what? P2, okay, they are going to reduce what? The quantity to QM, right? And that is what this is all talking to us about. I believe you can see the arrows moving from the quantity Q3 or 2 to quantity QM. Can somebody see that?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you, Rodas. So at the end of the day, I just wanted to go back and then confirm, because the first slide they put there, it was not all the bones, sorry, all the flesh for me to eat. So I needed to go back, struggling a little bit to be able to interpret this for you. But this is what it does. That at the end of the day, if in this market, monopolistic competition, if they increase, okay, a price from say P1 to P2, we're going to see a shortfall or a decrease in the quantity. All right. And that is what we have. So the monopolistically competitive firm shows that kind of more flexibility. In more or less is what? Elastic. That's what somebody would say. Is anybody having a challenge with this also? Is anybody having a challenge here? Do I make sense to anybody? Do I make sense to anybody?
Yes, yes, Professor.
Okay. So I needed to go back a couple of times for me to understand. All right, let's move forward. All right, so there we go. Just also like what we said earlier on, if the price does what? Falls, you could see the faint line, right? From P, I'm not sure if it is P2 or P3. The faint line, okay, coming down to the thick line, you see that if the price falls, quantity does what? Increase, okay? That is exactly what happens in this market, the monopolistically competitive market. This is what happens in here. So again, at the end of the day, you see that kind of flexibility in this kind of market that we are talking about. Good. So in monopolistic competition, this is what we have. Products are what? Differentiated products, okay? Differentiated products allows firms to do what? To have some monopoly power. Again, don't forget what is there. Some monopoly power, okay? And availability of close substitutes in the market, okay? Because of what? Differentiated products, okay? Differentiated products, which allows customers to do what? To be more responsive to price changes, like I said earlier on. At the end of the day, if I cannot afford this particular product, maybe I can afford its substitute, the close substitute, because it's a different product that they produce in that market. I hope I'm making sense to somebody. Good. So in which of the following markets, okay, are demand and marginal revenue equal? In which of the following markets are demand and then marginal revenue equal? Anybody?
It's I think it's C, Professor.
C. Okay. I think it's C too. Perfect competition is the only one. Yes, that is perfect competition. You are right. So in perfect competition, when the demand and marginal, the demand goes up, marginal revenue is going to go up. Okay, that's exactly what it is. Because at the end of the day, it has that kind of direct relationship. I hope we understand that point. Good. So let's move into another one with a short run equilibrium. Short run equilibrium. Short run equilibrium. So marginal revenue is equivalent to marginal cost. Marginal revenue is equivalent to marginal cost. That is, in monopolistically competitive firm use the same thing as marginal revenue is equivalent to what? Marginal cost. Okay, as we might have discussed in the past, it means it's also that kind of maximizing profits. Okay, this is the same similar module that we are talking about. That's why initially I said it has some sort of similarities. Okay, so that is what we do have. So marginal revenue will be equal to what? Marginal cost. Okay, that is in monopolistically competitive market. Good. So there we go. How do we see this over here? So at the end of the day, we have the price and we have the average total cost. Okay, so you're gonna see that just like every other firm that we might have discussed. For instance, here, if price falls and say to P no longer than greater than what we call it average total cost, the firm can minimize its cost, okay, within that period. Okay, this is telling us that some profits is being made. Okay, some profit is being made, and in the short run, monopolistically competitive firms can do what? Earn what we term as economic profit. Okay, in this market, in a short run, they can earn this kind of profit. Okay, so they earn this kind of profit in the short run, and they can also earn what? They can also earn normal profit. Okay, they can also earn normal profit, and again minimize losses. Okay, in the short run with this particular market. That's why it does have some similarities with perfectly competitive market. I hope somebody is hearing me. Again, for this particular market, one thing which is surprising is they can also do what? Even shut the prices they charge due to product differentiation. Okay, they can shut the prices that they charge. Okay, in the long run, what happens to them? In the long run, monopolistically competitive firms, what can they do? They can also do what? Earn economic profit. Okay, they can earn economic profit. They can also as well earn normal profit. They can do what? Minimize profits. And at the end of the day, they can shut down in the long run. Okay. Okay. So that is what we do have here. And then the normal profit, as I did mention in a few. Okay. And then the normal profit in monopolistic competition market. In a monopolistic competition market, you see that they do earn a profit, and this is what we term as, in the long run, they will do what? Earn zero over here. Yep, over here, you see that in the long run, they will earn zero economic profit or normal profit, which is where the price is equivalent to what? Average total cost. All right, which is where the price is equivalent to average total cost. Okay. Now, in the short run, what happened? Monopolistically competitive market can take what? They can take a loss. They can take a loss, just like what we have discussed already, which means they will produce until where MR, which is marginal revenue, is equivalent to what? Marginal cost. Okay, they can produce until where marginal revenue is equivalent to marginal cost. Okay, so you need to also look at that and ensure that at ATC they are ATC, which is average to that cost to the price, that is the loss they are incurring at that period. Okay, that is the loss they are incurring at that particular period. Okay, so now in the short run, monopolistically competitive firms can do what? And economic profit. Okay, in the short run, monopolistically competitive markets can do what? Earn an economic profit, minimize a loss, earn a normal profit, or shut down. In the short run, true or false?
I think it's true, although I'm not sure about shutting down because that usually happens in the long run. But I will go with true.
Okay, yes. Yes, they can shut the price. Yes, but yes, once they shut the price, it means they can shut down. This is true. Yes, so they can earn an economic profit. That's one we are aware. Minimize the loss, and then also earn a normal profit. Okay, and then in relation to the shutdown, yes, this happens in the long run, but once they shut the price in the short run, they are shutting down the business. I hope we understand what I'm trying to put across.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Okay. Good. So that's what we have, because this one was also a little tricky. So characteristics of the other part or the other side of our discussion today: oligopoly. Good. So at the end of the day, oligopoly is this type of market that we do have few producers. Okay, we do have few producers. They do sell standardized or differentiated products. They have entry barriers over here. Okay, they do have entry barriers, and they are what? Price makers. So unlike perfectly competitive markets, who are price takers, over here they are price makers. Okay, they are price makers, and then they are what? Mutually interdependent. They are mutually interdependent. All right, in an oligopolistic competitive market. All right, so unlike the monopolistic competitive market, this is just different from what do we call it, from perfectly competitive market. Okay, so unlike monopolistically competitive market, which has some sort of similarities with perfectly competitive market, this one is just completely way out. Okay, because you will see that both perfectly competitive markets and the monopolistic competitive market, both of them have what? Some large number of what? Producers. Okay, and guess what? They have some free flow of entry and exit in the market. Okay, but when we compare the perfectly competitive market to the monopolistic competitive market, perfectly, that's what? They are price takers. Monopoly is what? They have some control over the price, okay? But over here, they make the price. They make the price. And guess what? They can do that, or they are able to do that because they are what? Mutually interdependent. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, we'll go through and then you get to know one of the subtopics, which is cartel. They are gangs, they are association. They put themselves together to do what? Just to be able to make the price. So they are price makers. So that is it. So at the end of the day, now I believe somebody is getting the difference between what we have as monopolistic competitive market and the monopoly market. Okay, so that is the difference. Okay, that is the difference. So that is oligopolistic competitive market over here, and this is their characteristics. Now they are asking us about oligopolies produce what? What do oligopolies produce? Okay, do they produce standard products? Do they produce differentiated products? Do they produce unique products? What is it?
Answer is D.
Good. Thank you, Lauren. As far as I'm aware, the previous slide we just looked at it tells us that they produce what? Standard products and differentiated products in this type of market. All right. So in this type of market, they produce both standard and differentiated products. So please just make sure you have that at mind, and you'll be able to do justice to it when it comes to any exams. In which market module does mutual interdependence exist? In which market module? We just explained ourselves. We just said that is the characteristics of what? Oligopoly. Okay, it's a characteristics of oligopoly. All right. So at the end of the day, we do see all the markets here: perfect competition, monopoly, monopolistic competition, and oligopoly. All I need you to have in mind, and as I started earlier on, is never try to take monopolistic competition as the same as monopoly market. These are two separate things. So at the end of the day, you know that this one, which is the monopoly, is different. The fact that you have monopolistic does not make it the same as monopoly. All right. That's what I was trying to put across earlier on. So now let's move on to this.
Excuse me, Professor. Sorry for interrupting. So
Go ahead.
does oligopoly and monopoly, are they the same?
Oligopoly and monopoly, are they the same? Can somebody answer that? Oligopoly and monopoly, are they the same?
As far as I understand, they are not the same. They have some differences.
Okay. So monopoly and oligopoly are two different markets. Okay. They are two different markets. All right. But at the end of the day, you have the functions or the characteristics of monopoly in oligopoly. Is somebody with me? The characteristics, okay, of monopoly will be in oligopoly. They, one way or the other, functions or operates like what? Monopoly. Okay, but don't forget, let's go back to, where is this? Characteristics. where is the characteristics? Where did we go? I'm trying to pick up the characteristics for oligopoly. Good. There we go. Good. So few large producers. Few large producers. Okay. Standardized or differentiated products. Okay. Entry barriers are there. They are price makers and they mutually depend on each other. Okay. So unlike in a monopoly, that it means you're going to have that kind of maybe say in a market, one particular firm will have control over the entire market. This is some few markets coming together to operate in that category. Am I making sense?
Yes, yes, it's clear.
Okay, so unlike monopoly, that it might be maybe one company or one firm trying to do that, cartels or oligopoly can act, they can put themselves together, okay, to act like monopoly. I don't know if it's not clear, then maybe I might have to give you more reading materials on that. I hope somebody is getting what I'm saying. I did hear from Reuters, but I'm not sure if we are more than 2 or 3 on the line. I'm not sure. If somebody having the same challenge as to oligopoly and monopoly.
For me, a little bit. Monopoly is like one firm controlling the market, or multiple firms, because oligopoly is multiple firms.
Very good.
Okay, so monopoly is what?
Monopoly, that's what I'm trying to say. It could be one strong firm in the market, a giant, okay, in the market, controlling the price. Okay, again, a couple of firms can decide to do what? Merge. Okay, they can decide to merge to become one, to be very strong in the market. That can be done. But for monopoly to function properly, it has to be one or two producers who are very strong in the market that can take that kind of decisions in the market. Along the line, if I get more information on that, I'll provide to you. If you still not sure as to what I'm trying to put across. Are you with me, Awad?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay. Because in monopoly, there is not anything like competition. You know, there is nothing like that. There is nothing like that. Okay. Over here, they form some sort of association to do that. But guess what? There is some sort of competition because some products, or let me put it this way, consumers might choose to patronize certain products, okay, based on its standardized or differentiated aspect of it. All right. So that is what I can say for now. If something comes up, I'll be able to share or throw more light on it for you. I think we have done this question. I think we have done this question as well. Okay, so were we doing cartels? Okay, so cartels is what we are trying to talk about until monopoly came in. You know, see, in cartels, when they come together, like I said, it's difficult for them to even compete among each other. Okay, although indirectly, okay, indirectly might be seen like that. Okay, but this is what it is in cartels. Once they come together, they have one mind, they have one price, they control the price in the market. Okay, they control the price in the market. So at the end of the day, what they want to charge is what they send to the what do we call it, to the market. Okay, so in this market, there is more, or there is, let me say, there is a less competition. There is less competition. That's what I would say. Okay, less competition in this market. So at the end of the day, they come together as a group, and then they try to macho the entire market. So I did not explain this one. Okay, so in a cartel, what happens over here in a cartel? So you see that we do have a cartel. What do? They try to do what? They try to come together. I'm looking for the word. Yes, they try to come together and collude. Okay, they try to come together and collude with a price. They collude to do what? Fix the price among the members. Okay, and it becomes like a single firm, like I said. Okay, once they collude among themselves, okay, and then sell a product or give a price, they become just totally like a monopoly, single firm. Okay, so like I said earlier on with the monopoly, it can be one or two that can come together. They can merge to be very strong in the market to compete for the market shares. So at the end of the day, just like this, when they do that, okay, they behave like monopoly, but they are not. I don't know if you do understand what I'm saying. This can be maybe, it can be 30 markets, 30 firms in the market, but with the same pricing strategy, with the same price on the market, okay? But with a monopoly, it is one firm, maybe two or three, that has merged. I don't know if somebody gets what I'm saying. If I say merged, it has still become what? One. Okay? So at the end of the day, they will be in the market trying to compromise with the price. So with a cartel, they are not, okay, they are not one company, or they are not two or three company that has come together to be a body. No, this one, it is multiple firms, but they come together as a gang, cartel. That is the simple meaning I want to use. As a gang or as an association, as a group, and then they think about how to do what? Control the price. Awad, I'm not sure if you still don't get what I'm saying about
this.
Okay, thank you. So that is what we have over here. And over here, what do? You see, they can also do what? They can also earn economic profit, okay, in cartels. Okay, they can earn economic profit. And the lack of competition amongst them, what comes into your head when we say they don't compete among each other? What comes to your head? It allows them to do what? Always shoot for higher prices among their products because they don't compete. Okay, they don't compete. So looking at where the ATC is, okay, so from P1 to ATC, they are still making what? Economic profit over here. All right, they are still making economic profit. Okay, we do have some small quiz over here. Drug dealers agreeing to sell drugs at a certain price is an example of what? I don't need you to answer this. Award. I don't need Nora to answer. I don't need Rhodas. I've heard Rhodas today. Mansoon, I've heard you. Anybody else on the line?
Okay, my answer is letter D.
Judlin.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. So that is D. Okay. Again, look at how this question was set. If you still have a challenge between monopoly and cartel, drug dealers agreeing to sell drugs. Okay. They agree to sell drugs at a certain price. Yes, it means they have come together. Okay. And the fact that they are agreeing to sell that product at that specific price does not make them a combined organization or an what do we call it? A merged organization. Okay, so this is clearly a cartel, which is the D. All right, thank you, Jodlin. So let's move forward. What we call it, price leadership. Oh, thank you, Leah. Thank you, Leah. Leah did answer as well. So we do have what we term as price leadership. Price leadership. What do we use that for? Let's go through quickly, and by the end of the day, we'll get to know what it is. By definition, a price used by the dominant firm in a non-collusive oligopolistic market to signal price change. Okay, that is what we term as what? A price leadership. Price leadership. A price used by the dominant firm in a non-collusive oligopolistic market to signal price change. Okay, so it's a price strategy, okay, for a market or for a firm in a non-collusive oligopolistic market to do what? To take advantage of the market or to signal price change. All right, that is what is price leadership. Limit pricing. What does that also mean? By definition, the practice used by the dominant firm in a non-collusive oligopolistic market to prevent the entry of new firms by establishing what? A price lower than the short-run profit-making price. Okay, so at the end of the day, look at their characteristics. They don't want people to enter the market. They have a barrier in there. Okay, so at the end of the day, they can use limit pricing to do what? To prevent others from entering the market. I hope this is clear. Good. So, price leadership, collusion works to make markets less competitive by unifying the price or output response of firms. Okay, associated with what? Illegal or what? Anti-competitive behaviors. This is what they will do. Okay, in order to do what? to get people not to enter the market, to be able to do what? Control the price. This is what they will do. It's a strategy. Okay. So at the end of the day, if you have maybe 3 automobiles talking to each other, automobile companies talking to each other to find a way to produce an electric vehicles at a certain price, that you will not be able to get that electronic automobile within less than that specific price that they are talking about. These people can come together, these firms can come together, and these are the strategies they use, which is what we are talking about right now. So price leadership generates independent and infrequent price changes. Okay, at the end of the day, it has the potential of bringing prices and output closer to the what? To their competitive levels. So it becomes very difficult to challenge them. It becomes very difficult to take that kind of competition with them. So this is what we have as price leadership or collusion, and the collusion itself tells what it is. Okay, tells what it is. These people come together, and that's what they do in a cartel. Okay, that's what they do in a cartel. I know a lot of people will understand what I'm saying. You might have that in almost every part of the world. We have companies like that. All right, they are there, especially in the oil industry. You might see a lot of this. Okay, just because they have to find a way to come up with some sort of stabilized, I will not say stabilized, non-competitive price that will prevent others from entering the market. Okay, now we do have a question here. It says what? Sony announced that the newest PlayStation game console will cost 10% more than the last module due to updated graphics card. Microsoft then announced that the Xbox coming out in a few months will also be sold for a higher price. This is an example of what? Can somebody tell us?
It's A.
It's A. Thank you, Rodas. This is a clear indication of what? Price leadership. It's a clear indication of what? Price leadership, because at the end of the day, this is what they want to do. Okay? They generate that kind of independent and pricing, okay, changes. They do generate that. Okay? At the end of the day, what they want to do is take advantage of the market. Okay, so price leadership. Thank you, Rodas. There is another one over here too. And it says what? Cox Media has lowered the price of internet in Omaha. That is 13% below their profit maximizing price. CenturyLink follows suit for their internet prices, which prevents new providers coming into the area. What is this? This is an example of what?
C, limit pricing.
C, limit pricing. Somebody said something too. C, limit pricing. Is somebody agreeing with Judlin? Because I don't.
I think it was Sarah, and I agree with her.
You agree with this price limiting, limit pricing. Cox media has lowered the price of internet in Oman 13% below their profit maximizing price. CenturyLink follows suit. Just listen to the continuation of the sentence. CenturyLink did what? Follow suit for their internet price.
My answer is letter B.
B?
Yes.
I still don't agree with you. I'm waiting for the person who agree with me that is A. You know, just look at the previous question and look at this particular question too. Okay? I want somebody to challenge me that this answer is not A. Rodas, don't get worried, okay? Can somebody challenge me that my answer is wrong? Where are you, Awad?
Professor,
are you going with the C too?
Well, I want to challenge you because the price leadership is related to increasing the price of a product. Okay, while lowering the price is limiting the price is related to lowering the price so no new competition will come in.
Oh, exactly. So you really want to challenge me. So at the end of the day, Brothers, that is correct. Yes, go ahead,
Yes,
Mansoon.
Okay, I think price leadership is related to the competitors that are already in the market, but limit pricing is about preventing new providers coming into the market. So the question also talks about preventing new providers coming into the market. So the answer is C, limit pricing.
Okay, thank you. See, so at the end of the day, my answer is no good. All right. You know, this is why I need to come to class every day, but not to stay away. So thank you, Rodas. I just wanted to make sure that people are following what we are doing. Okay, not just listening. At the end of the day, your input will also make a change. So it is limit pricing. Okay, limit pricing. When you start reading the content or the sentence, you should be able to even have a clue by once they are lowering the price, they are limiting. Okay, so it's as simple as that. So my answer cannot stand the test of time. And then the B, which is collusion, cannot stand the test of time because they did not agree on anything. They did it on their independent decisions. Good. Thank you, folks. Now, let's try to play a game here and see who is the champion in playing games. Okay, so the game theory, by definition, is the study of strategic behavior of making decisions. Okay, just like the previous slide, this slide, not this one, but this one. You can see a gameplay here. Can we see the game being played here? Can somebody interpret the game which is going on here for me? We have not been there, but you could see that soon as Cox Media reduced their price, CenturyLink did something, okay, to do what? To counter the market, or to at least have its shares stabilized. And this is how market runs. So if you're a businessman or if you're a business leader, you're a marketing officer, you are a purchasing officer or a sales officer for an organization. You need to have that kind of thinking. You are competing with A, B, C, D. So every now and then you read what is in the market. You will always be what? Very focused in what is in the market. If A adjusts its pricing by throwing in any sort of pricing strategy, by throwing in any kind of discounting, promotion, any sort of strategy to take advantage of the market, what do? You counterproduct that kind of strategy to be able to what? Stay competitive. Is somebody following me? So that is what we do have. Even before we go on there, we do have a game being played over here, and it's just like what was going on in that contest. Good. So when we say a payoff matrix, what is that? A table showing the potential outcomes arising from the choices made by decision makers. Okay, that is what we term as what? Payoff metrics. Okay, the most obvious and simple, okay, yet very powerful strategy, okay, to look for in terms of dominating a price payoff in a market. Okay, very important. Payoff metrics, okay, is a table showing the potential outcomes arising from the choices made by the decision makers. So at the end of the day, when you counter your competitors' pricing strategy, do you look at the data? Do you look at what is coming out? Do you look at what is going on? How does that affect your business? This is what we have to always think about as businessmen, and it's going to improve your decision making. Okay, now dominant strategy. A situation in which a particular strategy yields the highest payoff regardless of what the other decision makers strategy. Okay, it means by its name you have come to do what? Take over, dominant, control. Okay, no matter your other competitors' strategy, you are in control, because maybe you have a very smart strategy in taking advantage of the market. And I could see a lot of people in this class who, if given that opportunity, will be able to do that. Because when I threw that question out there, I saw good feedback coming out. And like I said, it's not only pricing. I want you to think out of the box. I got very good strategy coming from people. You know, warranty alone, I don't know who brought that up, was a very good strategy. People get to have a peace of mind when they buy your product. They know that, hey, this iPhone, if I buy it, I will not be bothered if it's going to get damage in a year or 2 years, because the manufacturer says that the phone is guaranteed for operational and whatever use for maybe 2 years. You have that kind of peace of mind. This is the strategies I want you to bring about. It's not about pricing. At the end of the day, you lower price, it can affect your business. You think out of the box as a businessman. Okay, it's not only about pricing. That's why when somebody mentioned price, I came in to make that comment. Yes, it's good, but I don't want you to keep saying pricing, because although each and every one have a different pricing strategy, once you are dealing with price, you are within the category of price or pricing. Come out of that. Use that kind of smart thinking, okay, to outweigh your competitors. Okay, use a discounting program, use automation, use something that will differentiate you from your competitors. And it's not about the theory that I'm telling you. You think about some of these things that I tell you. That is why I bring in those kind of discussions and those kind of questions, just to get you to think. I hope somebody is following, and by the end of this class, we'll learn something out of it. So that is dominant strategy. So dominant strategy is a strategy that no matter what it is going to be the what? The highest payoff, regardless of other decision, other competitors' decision. Okay, strategy that they will take, no matter what it is going to yield that kind of payoff. Even if it's within your own organization, you get to know that you have two products. You have a strategy for one product and another strategy for another product. When you assess both products, you see what strategy works best. You know that. You know that by looking at the data and doing what? Just analyzing the data at the end of the day. So that is what we have for payoff. And then this is the payoff metrics, as you see. Okay, so from here, what do we see? We have firm A and then firm B. Okay, firm A and firm B. What are they trying to tell us over here? At the end of the day, they're telling us that the firm A is in blue and firm B is in what? Firm A is in brown and firm B is in blue. Okay, so if you look at the strategy over here, it tells that if a firm A decide to price high at 40, guess what? Firm B will also price at 40. They will match the competitor. Okay, if firm B decide to also do what? Go very low, say to 10. All right, firm A will also match their pricing by going to what? 10. Okay, so at the end of the day, you see that there is always this kind of competition among them, and it should pay off eventually. I'm not sure if it makes sense to anybody. You know, you can see that both achieve their best overall outcome. Okay, if they collude and agree, both will do what? Set high prices. If we're talking about cartels here. Okay, if they collude and they agree, they will both set both prices, high prices or lower prices. Okay, but assuming, looking at the first one, you could see that when firm A decide to price its product as say $5, okay, we'll have the firm B pricing at 50. Okay, this is what it is. You try to counter-product your competitor. But again, when they try to come together as a cartel, collude, or as an association to do what? To control the price, you see that they can always have the same price at the same time. If somebody have anything to say, any challenge, please feel free to come up with it. Okay, so what do we think is collusion, or what collusion means? What does that mean? A situation in which decision makers coordinate their actions to achieve desired outcomes. That is what we term as what? Collusion. Collusion is generally used to do what? Achieve an outcome that would not be possible if they are dealing by themselves, in the absence of what? Coordinated actions. And it is typically associated with illegal and what? Anti-competitive behaviors, which is very simple and very true. You know, if it was by themselves, they cannot take control over the market. So they go around, and this is why normally you have what we term as unions. If you have unions in whatever organization that you'll be working for, they're gonna tell you that you pay maybe $20 at the end of the month, and these are some of the things they would do for you. They do price bargaining with the employer. Okay, that hey, we are getting paid $20 an hour, but we need $25 an hour. They come together with that one voice, with that kind of strong background, because they have all the employees with them. They will be able to sometimes make that kind of impact, because they can cause your firm to do what? To go down. If the employees decide not to work, what is going to happen to your organization? Your production is going to stall. Okay, so at the end of the day, you give them a listening ear. In the other side, or on the other side, if you are not in a union, it becomes somehow difficult for you to do what? At least bargain with your employer, ask for a raise, because your employer have more or less some power or control over you. In some organizations, you cannot even tell a union employee what to do other than the lay down description in their job description. Okay, so you just make sure that they don't do anything other than what they're supposed to do in their job description. This is what we term as collusion. Forming an association, coming together to have a strong voice to be able to bring a price or something down. And normally, like we said, I'm not trying to say that unions are illegal, but again, unions tend to destroy many small startups. So if you are not strong, they will bring you down. Okay, and that is what it is. It's good. It's not a bad thing. Just that at a point, you have to evaluate both to make sure that it's working for you. So that is collusion. So at the end of the day, we do have the pay off, and as I explained to you, okay, they can do what? They can collude to come up with what? The 10 and then 10. When the firm B priced at 10, the firm A will price at 10. Okay, this is exactly what they are trying to tell us. Okay, unlike where firm A will price at 50 and firm B will price at $5 in millions, as a matter of fact. Okay, so when the collusion comes into play, you see them pricing at the same time, at the same price. So that is what we have over there as price collusion, and that is the same interpretation that goes off. You see that you have the same benefit, the same payoff will come out, okay, and you enjoy similar kind of benefit from that kind of strategy. Good. Now, let's move on to the next one, which is the Nash equilibrium. When we say Nash equilibrium, is an outcome in which decision makers choose their what? Dominant strategy, and each has no incentive to independently change his or her strategy. Okay, this is a Nash equilibrium, an outcome in which decision makers choose their dominant strategy, and each has no incentive to independently change his or her strategy. Okay, Nash strategy. So once you get in, you'll be able to have a strategy, and then you get sealed, and you will not be able to do what? Change it at any point in time, or when you feel it's okay for you to do that. Nash equilibrium. Nash equilibrium. Good. Let's see. All right, collusion. What is collusion? When we say collusion, anybody who have not spoken today can tell us what it is. Collusion. Collusion is legal in the United States. I am here in United States, so I'm telling you it's legal. So if it is not legal, but it's something else, I need a challenger. Anybody who have not spoken? Is Clement on the line? Clement not on the line. Okay. Olia, can you give me a test? Okay, I see that somebody's typing. Let's see what this answer is going to be. Oh. Stop typing. Anyway, is somebody giving us the answer? Well, collusion is necessary to do what? To achieve an outcome better than a Nash equilibrium. Okay, that is what it is. Collusion is necessary to achieve an outcome better than a Nash equilibrium. Okay, there is no way collusion is going to be legal in the United States. There is no way. Okay, there is no way collusion is always a result in a Nash equilibrium. No. Collusion eliminates teaching. No. Okay, collusion does not eliminate cheating. It rather encourages what? Teaching. Okay. So cheating in a market, collusion will not eliminate that, but will rather encourage it. So that is the answer for you. That is A. Answer A is what we term as what collusion can do and cannot do. So now let's move quickly into some laws that we have, and we call it antitrust laws. We just spoke about collusion being legal in the United States. I'm not sure if it is something that somebody want to hear out there. No, it's never legal in the United States. Let's see some malpractices and some laws that affects it in the United States. So we call antitrust, okay? Antitrust. Antitrust laws. These are laws made to prevent companies from unfairly restricting competition in the market. Okay? Guess what? These laws are there. Wherever you find yourself in those countries, those laws are there. But what happens? If you're a businessman, what happens? You understand what I'm talking about. Those laws are there, but people continue to do what? Find a way to do what? To eliminate competition, to unfairly gain advantage in the market. You know, if you are a producer, okay, people go as far as going to your source of raw materials to do what? To blockade it. If they think like you are making progress, you are competing them in the market, they go as far as going to your source where you get your materials. They're gonna go there and make a deal over there that the producer, your raw materials producer or supplier will end up telling you that no, we are not even going to do that anymore. This is how a market runs everywhere in the world. But we have laws that prevents them. In this country or United States, yes, when they find out, or it turn out to be that you are using that unfair strategy in the market to take advantage of other competitors, you will face the laws to its maximum. Okay, that is what these laws are meant for, antitrust laws, just to prevent companies from unfairly restricting other competitors in the market. Okay, so there are some three major laws that has been initiated in United States, and the first one is what we term as the Sherman Act. Okay, the Sherman Act. How do I explain this? The Sherman Act is it helps, or it helps to, let me put it this way. The Sherman Act makes fixing price, okay? It makes fixing price, or attempting to fix price, or raising price illegal, okay? That is the Sherman law, trying to fix price, okay? Like cartels, right? You remember cartels. So they try to come together to do what? To fix the price. When you do this, the Sherman law or the Sherman Act makes this illegal, okay? And this is an act that has been made in terms of business to be able to protect the entire market terrain. All right, so that is what we have for Sherman Act. And Clayton Act. Also, it's also make it illegal for to do what? For firms to merge, okay? It makes it illegal for firms to merge, okay? That will create that kind of monopoly in the market, like I was explaining. 1 or 2, 3 companies who enjoys greater share in the market comes together, boom, to make a strong force to be able to determine the price. Okay, they want to control the price in the market. This kind of merging a company or organizations, the Clayton Act makes it illegal. Okay, it makes it illegal. That is the Clayton Act. The Federal Trade Commission Act is also talking about deception, trying to deceive people with so many ways to be able to take advantage of the market. That is what the Federal Trade Commission Act is also dealing with. All right, I'm not sure if somebody understands what I'm trying to explain or put across. So that was it. So, oh, okay, good. So let's see if we can read through quickly. Sherman Act made illegal contracts, organizations, or actions that restricts trade. Okay, so if you try every means to do what? To at least prevent other people to trade among themselves, to at least make that kind of competition work in the market, you are going contrary to what? The Sherman Act. The Clayton Act, as I've explained earlier on, made illegal mergers, okay, and acquisition. That lessens the competition, okay, because they are 2, 3, 4, they come together and they try to put themselves together just to be able to hit the market. No, to be able to take advantage of the smaller ones, making competition very, very less or invalid. It's not going to happen. You're going to go against the Clayton Act. The Federal Trade Commission, as I said earlier on, okay, established Federal Trade Commission. They outlawed unfair method of competition. They also outlawed unfair / deceptive acts of practices in the business terrain. All right, this is a law that helps each and everyone that functions in a business or in the market area. Good. Question. What does this mean? The goal of Antitrust Act is to do what? The goal of the antitrust. B is to protect
consumers.
Thank you. Thank you. So protect consumers. All right. This is done to protect consumers because at the end of the day, if competition is not there, what will happen? If competition is not in the market, what will happen?
Price might go higher because price might go higher, quality might go lower.
Good. Good. Thank you. That is exactly what it is. You know, there is no competition. So the firm that's controlling the market share have the capacity to do what they want. They can increase the price, okay? And they don't care about the quality. Even if you cry, even if you report them, they are the only producers in the market, okay? That is what we've been talking about. So at the end of the day, you only have to do what? Go with it. Go with the flow. You understand what I'm saying? So antitrust laws or acts are made to do what? Protect consumers. Okay, protect consumers. And that is what we have for today. For those who joined late, I gave out 7 areas for you to concentrate in your midterm exams. For the final exams. As I said earlier on, there's going to be multiple questions and some written part. Okay, it's either going to be one written topic that will demand something, and then or 2 written topics. Then you'll be able to also
excuse me, Professor. The same question. The goal of antitrust acts is to because the antitrust laws to prevent companies from unfairly restricting competition in the market. Okay, so it's not about consumers.
Oh, why? Can you tell me why?
Because the companies, like if they do merging or something like that, it's to prevent the competition to prevent a new service provider or a new company to enter the market.
Very good. You got a point, but
eventually it's for the consumers, of course.
So now you have answered yourself. So the final product, okay, the final product or the final benefiter of this is the consumer. They are doing this, at the end of the day, they're doing this for the companies not to do what? Have the power in their hands, because soon as they have the power in your hands, you and I, we are doomed.
Exactly.
It's for the consumers. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you. You understand that part, the part that it means it protects the organizations, because once it's the fact that it's controls the organizations or the companies not to do that kind of bad practices. At the end of the day, if they cannot do that practices or go contrary to the laws, then me and you will always benefit in their production. So that is entirely correct. Okay. And if you look at the questions over there, if you look at the answers over there, you will see that it will not limit the profits of companies. It will also not protect what we call it, firms. As a matter of fact, this question over here, at the end of the day, you are not protecting any firm, because if they say protect firms, then we could say protect indigenous firms. Okay, so if they put indigenous firms there, then possibly Yes, because maybe there are some United States companies that other companies are competing, okay, with different strategy. So they can put in a law just to be able to do what? Protect the indigenous firms. But if they just say firms, which firms are we protecting? So it cannot be that answer. And it will not also reduce competition as well. So thank you for bringing that up for further explanation. I'm not sure if anybody have a question. There is something that is bothering anybody. If not, then I'll let you go, and then you go and then concentrate on your review. Any question about the exams? Olia, this is to all of you. I'm not sure, maybe one of you might sometimes forget. The homework have 2 attempts, okay? So just a reminder, the homework have 2 attempts. So if you attempt one and you're missing 1 or 2 answers, please help yourself by getting a better grade, okay? By going back and then taking the second one. If you don't take it and then the time elapses, then it means you have lost that opportunity to take the second one. All right. So I'm not sure if there is no question, any challenge, anything that is bothering anybody.
Excuse me, Professor. May I know how many questions are there in the final?
Wow, the final is gonna have approximately 40 to 50 multiple choice. Approximately between 40 and 50, depending on the written parts, the number of questions that will come there.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, and all these questions, you should be able to answer them soon, because they are questions you have seen or might have at least have the opportunity to at least deal with it along the line. I'm not saying they are the same questions though, but to be able to answer them.
Great, thank you, Professor.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. So I'm not sure if there is no more question, then we can just call it a day. Awad, no question?
No question, Professor. Thank you.
Thank you, Awad. Are you there, Rudas?
Yes, I no questions, no questions.
Nora is there?
Yes, no questions from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. Nora is quiet today. You okay?
Yes, I am. I'm just a bit confused because this lesson especially I have taken another way in another economics course, so I'm trying to get adapted to the new info. Don't worry.
All right. But feel free to send me a text if you do have any challenge. Just private me. I'm fine with that. All right.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Good. All right. And Judlin, no question.
I have question, but maybe I will read it again. The monopoly and monopolistically.
Okay. Monopoly is just one control. Okay. Monopolistically competitive markets is having the similarities of competitive, perfectly competitive firm. Okay. And what we call it, monopolistic competitive, what do we call it, market. It has that kind of it blends with its characteristics. Okay, so at the end of the day, you see that kind of entry availability, that kind of large number of firms that was in a perfectly competitive firm, and also see what again, You see a large number of firms. You see, what did I just said? What did I just say?
Monopolistic.
Now I'm talking about a characteristic that blends, which is the entry relatively entry and then exit is just open for you to be able to enter. Okay, so ideally they have similar what do we call it, characteristics. Okay, when you go to perfectly competitive market, they are price takers. Okay, and monopolistically competitive market, over here they have some control. They have some control. They don't have entire control over the market, and also they will be selling what we term as differentiated products. Okay, so if you want me to send you more information on in terms of materials, I'll be able to send that to you. But if you face any confusion along the line, you can send me a text or private me through the model platform.
Can I have one last question, please?
Sure.
Can you give me example of monopoly and monotypically?
Monopolistically, monopoly is as simple as you can think about. Do I have to say the electric car makers are just one now? No, but let me say, assuming it's only one company selling water, that company or that entity becomes a monopoly as against the monopolistically competitive market where there is a large number of what? Firms. Are you with me?
Yes, I am.
So that is a simple answer you can get. If it's one company, only one company producing Coca-Cola, okay, he becomes a monopoly. Okay, unlike on the other side where they do not do what? Have one person producing that product, but many producers and different what do we call it? Different types, which is can be used as a close substitute. That makes it the difference.
Okay.
So if you do have any more questions, yes, you can private me. I'm always available. Even if I'm at the office, I'll still be able to assist you. All right.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. So without much ado, I'll let you guys go and then enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Professor.